Hello guys, welcome to my channel. So today's tutorial is on this beautiful dress that I made for a client. So you can see the picture and the recreation of the dress. So I'm going to be going into detail how you're going to achieve this style in detail, so you don't want to miss this tutorial. If you would like to learn how to do this, please stay tuned to the channel. This is a shoulder dart bust here, and I'm going to be explaining how to achieve that, and also how to achieve this two-step flare and some other details that you will need to know, so you don't want to miss the class. So let's just get right into it. Thank you. So we're going to start with the pattern drafting. So you can see that I already went ahead to draft the basic pattern, and that is the fabric that I'm going to be using for this tutorial. So you can see I have Ankara. The Ankara is 2 yards, and I also have the lace fabric. The lace fabric is cord net, so it's actually quite thick. So those are the two fabrics that I'm going to be using for this tutorial, and you can see the basic pattern drafted. So if you want to understand how to draft that, I'm going to be dropping a link. So once you have this, you want to go ahead to start drafting your new pattern. So here for the neckline, I am going in by around 1.2 inches. So if you look at the thumbnail of the style, there is like an extension to the neckline, so it's like a facing. So the first thing I did was to mark that first. So once I marked that, I just divided the remaining points by 2, and I make sure that I connected it to the bust point. So that is going to be the point where we're going to be holding our darts. We're going to be tightening our under bust, and we're also going to be connecting it to our shoulder, which is what I'm going to be explaining next. So now to tighten the under bust, I'm going to go ahead to show you how to do that properly. So you need to I'm trying to check my waistline just to show you guys. So you check the round measurement for the waistline. So you can see I have 9.5 there. The client's round waist is 38 divided by 4 is 9.5. So you want to go ahead and measure the under bust to you. So you start from the folded part like that, and you stop at the dart line. So you can see I have 5 inches there. So you bring the 5 inches to the other dart line, and you measure whatever you have there. So I think I have around 10.2 there. So I'll be removing 0.2 inches on that part, and the other side I'll remove 1 inches, so that is around 1.2 inches in total. So if you minus 10.2 from if you minus 1.2 from 10.2, you have around 9 inches. So round under bust measurement is 36 divided by 4 is 9. So we're still on the right track. So that is how to go ahead to tighten your under bust. So if you're kind of confused with the calculations, you can just go in on the under bust around 0.2 inches, and the other side just go in 1 inches and connect it to the waistline like that. So once you're done doing that, you're just going to be you need to shape your shoulder as well. So for the shoulder point, I went in 0.2 inches on one side, and the other side I think I did around 0.5 inches. So I'm just going to be extending the lines like that. So you can see I'm going ahead to extend the other side first. So once I'm done doing that, I'm going to be extending the shoulder by whatever I removed from that point. So once you do this side, if you want to, you don't have to do the other side, but if you want to, you can do the other side as well. So that is just what I just did there. So once I was done doing that, I'm going to be extending the shoulder line. So I'm just showing you that those parts we're going to be cutting them off. So now you can see I have around 1.2 inches there, so I went ahead to extend the shoulder by 1.2 inches. So whatever you remove on that shoulder point, just extend it by that measurement on the shoulder. So once I was done doing that, I'm going to be going into, sorry, yes, the next thing to do is to get the lines. There's a part on the bust area that has the net part, so that's just what I'm trying to do there. So you can see I went in around 1 inches, then on the bust area I did 1.5, then coming down I did 1 inches, so it can form, like a kind of shape that is not straight, at the same time, like it's coming, like is tiny from the upper part, then when it gets to the bust area it enlarges. So you're just going to go ahead to use your curve to just extend it like that. So you might want to take your time doing this, don't rush it, just try to get a good shape. Guys, if you found this video helpful, please do subscribe to the channel, like our videos. Thank you for always joining us. We really appreciate your likes and your support. Thank you. So you can see that I've gone ahead to shape that. So I just label that net, so I know that that part is the part that the net is going to go into. So I'm just going to be extending all the lines out so that I can draft my back pattern. So you can see I only extended the chest line and the waistline. Those are the two lines that I need for the back measurement, so I'm going to be labeling them. So now you want to mark out a point where you can start measuring from, because we're going to be measuring the back from that side to the other side the way I have shown you. So now I'll start by measuring the shoulder, which is around 15 inches. So you're going to divide that by 2, that's 7.5. So you measure it on the shoulder point and the chest line as well, and you connect it like that. The next thing I did was to measure the round bust measurement, 42 inches divided by 4, that's 10.5. I marked that point. So now you need to bring the waistline up by 2 inches, and that is going to be your new waistline, because this pattern has a bust dart, so you need to remove the bust dart allowance, which was 2 inches that we added for the bust darts. If you don't understand that, please check out to draft a basic pattern. So now I'm just going to mark my darts on the waistline. So for the bust palm I use around 4.7 inches. If you are confused on the measurement to use, just divide whatever you have on the waistline by 2, and you're going to be extending the line up to the chest line. Then you go in by 0.5 inches on both sides. So once I was done with that, the next thing I needed to do was to get my neckline. Remember, whatever you have for the front parts, that's the same thing you're going to mark for the back. That is the horizontal measurement. So for the back I used 2.5 by 1 inches. So I went in to mark that, and I shaped the shoulder slant. For the shoulder slant for the back, I came down by 1 inches. So I just divided that by 2, and I went into shape the armhole. So this is actually part of basic pattern, but I only drafted the front part for the basic pattern, so that is why I'm explaining the back part. So that is that. So for the neckline, you're going to want to come down the same way you came down for the front, which is around 1.2 inches for the extra depth for the neckline. So now I'm just checking my measurements. So from that point I have 5 inches. I'm going to bring it to the midpoint and measure all the way. So you bring it to the back. From that point you measure all the way to the dart line. then you bring it to the next start line and you measure it. So I have around 18.7 inches, and our round waist measurement is around 19 inches, which is 38. So I'm just going to be slightly shaping it a bit, so I can have like a snatched look, not really snatched, but just an illusion of a snatched look. So now the next thing I'm doing here is I want to come up the waistline by 1 inches, because I don't want the waistline to come down too much for this measurement. So I'm going to be coming up the waistline by 1 inches, and I'll do the same thing for the back. Remember, there's still going to be a band in this this style. There's going to be a band, so you don't want the waistline to come down too much. So once you're done doing that, you're going to be extending you might want to extend the dart line for the back upward, so depending on what you want. So I just went in to extend it upward like that, and I'm just going to start cutting my pattern. So you can see me separating the mid part from the next part. I'm going to cut the extension of the neckline off like that. So once I'm done cutting, I'm going to be closing the bust dart. So here I'm labeling the pattern 1 2 3. I'm going to close the bust dart, and I'm going to just reshape it like that. I'm going to hold it down in place with pins, or you can just use a tip. So once I'm done doing that, I'm going to be start cutting the back. So you can see the way I'm cutting it. Just follow the steps, and don't forget to label your pattern and mark your arrows. So you can see me cutting the back extension for the neckline as well, and I label them front and back. So here are all my patterns drafted. You can see the front pattern, you can see the back pattern as well. So that is the neckline that I cut off for the front and back. I joined it together for the pattern, and I make sure that I cut the two together. I did not cut it separately. So you can see that's what it was looking like. So that is the band. So for the band, you're just going to divide the round waist by 4, which is 9.5. Then you had 1 inches for sewing allowance. So that gave us 10.5 there. So you can see all my patterns. So the part that has the net, you're going to cut ankara, and you're going to cut net as well, because the net is going to be staying on top of the ankara. So you can see what it was looking like here. So I went in to join 1 and 2 together. So that is it, showing you that that is the third part of the pattern that I'm not joined together. So the third part is going into the dart allowance like that. So you can see what it's looking like. So now let's just go into the cutting of the down part of the dress. So for the down part, you can see it comes in 2 steps. So I'm going to be cutting the flare part first, which is used to we used ankara to cut that part. So you need to form an arc. We're cutting a flare, so you just place your tape rule in the middle like that, and you keep moving it. So I used 10 inches to form the arc of this client. Remember, our waist is 38, so I used 10 inches to form the arc. So once you cut off the 10 inches, when you measure around the arc, you're going to realize that the waistline is going to have excess, because we're still going to pleat it later on. I'll be showing you what I mean by that later. So just use 10 inches for the arc measurement, and for the length I used around 14. Okay, I used 13 inches. So you're just going to mark it like that. So once you're done marking, you're going to be cutting. So you can see that's what I have there. So you notch all the four parts. Remember, our fabric is folded into four, so you just go ahead and open one part and you go ahead to measure. You can see that's where my 9.5 reaches, and I still have excess allowance to pleat on. So now you're going to measure the round. So I have 36 inches there. So that 36 inches, you're going to need it for this net part. So you're going to fold this net part into four as well, but this is going to be straight cut. Fold it into four in a straight cut, and make sure that whatever you have for the horizontal measurement is up to 36 inches, and the length I used around 14 inches. So now this is the sleeve. I'm just showing you how the sleeve is going to look like. When you pleat it, it's going to, be able to accommodate the band like that. So here I'm just showing you that you need to add stays for the front part and the back part. So you're going to be cutting two stays. So for this tutorial, I use the soft stay and the wadding. So that is what I'm just showing you here, and how you're going to be cutting it. But for a more detailed tutorial, please join us for the part 2 of this video. Thank you. Bye bye.